Hey.
Antenet on Magic si Mikey dyan. Magpakita mamaya.
May attention siya dyan. Yun yung effect ni Mikey dyan. Diba?
Motus anime invocamos, rogamos, et al iquid moveret quas. Ganun?
Wow.
Queso desideria nostra. Ganun eh.
Dinote mo talaga?
Oo naman. Niresearch ko yan eh. Because I studied Latin actually. I studied Latin 100. So I wanted to confirm if it really meant the same thing. And it did. So I'm happy.
Oh, so accurate.
Accurate siya. I checked both spells and my language geek in me is so happy.
Okay, so ayan, welcome. Good evening, everybody. It's a happy Tuesday.
Ayan si Mikey.
Ayan si Mikey.
Intro eh. Mikey, intro.
Intro, pasok.
Mikey, nakamute ka. Hello?
Hello? Pakigalaw ang baso, pakigalaw ang couch, Mikey. Mikey, mute.
Pakigalaw
You're on mute.
Nakamute ka talaga, Mikey. Ikaw na mag-intro talaga. Mikey? Hello?
Oh, Nico, pasok.
Nico, pasok. They will just watch.
Are we live?
Mikey. Yes, we are.
Yes, we
Live na
are.
talaga tayo. Oo.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone. So, where are we at now? Because I don't know.
No, we just started. Wala pa. I was just telling them that my language geek and me is happy. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, your language is?
Yeah, my language geek in me is happy because I checked the Latin spells that they used and they matched the meaning. So, there. Kasi Latin itself is hard as a language. If you're familiar with German, they share something similar. Like every word would have a conjugation or a prefix. So if you shuffle those words, it'll mean the same thing. Kasi they're carriers of what, let's say, motus would mean like the direct object of moter, parang ganon. Or anime is like the indirect object of the word animar, like that. Parang regardless of position, they mean the same thing.
Where is Latin a Romance language?
That's where the Romance languages started.
Okay.
So ang nanay nila is Latin and the kids are Italian, French, Spanish,
yes.
Romanian,
That's right.
Portuguese.
Correct.
Right.
That's why we had to study that for my course because it was a mother.
Okay, so it's gonna be our after show chat for Cheat the Series. Episode 1 is the first ever episode for the series. Kumusta naman tayo? Sabi ni Maki, parang naka-recover na ba tayo?
Recover naman.
Ano ba? Like heavy review na ba? Or kamustahan muna?
Yeah, kasi I mean, we have a lot of the series have ended already. Boys Lockdown ended.
Right.
GSP ended. So most of the second wave series ended already. So this is like the start of from influencers to cheat. These are the starts of the third wave, kumbaga.
Right. Third wave. Okay.
And they're changing the landscape already from influencers to cheat. And especially with cheat, they're changing the whole landscape and attack of what boys love is. It didn't start like the romance fluffy that we had with Boys Lockdown.
Okay.
Right.
And
so how was the first episode for you guys?
Parang if Boys Lockdown was all cotton candy and fluff, this is my Tanduay, Fundador, Emperador. Cheat is gonna be that. It's the tequila, it's the whiskey. Yes, first pa lang, may sipa na.
Yes.
Napasipa din talaga ako dun sa first episode. Like, for very specific reasons. Ano
yes.
Ano yung mga reasons mo?
Wait. Ano ba? How do we go about this?
Ano siguro? Ako I'll start off kasi feeling ko very very generalist ako mag-comment. I just comment from somewhere. For like I just look at the bird's eye view, I guess. So could probably go on with our delighter, satisfiers, and bummers. You can go specific, you can go general. Ako, ito I just realized that we've been doing our reviews for quite some time now, and I think we've had 3 series already na we had like episodal reviews, meaning na-complete natin yung mga after show reviews, after episode reviews tayo, right? So I think Gaya sa Pelikula was our first, but hindi natin na-complete yung episodes eh. And then we had Ben X Gym, which we completed. And then Boys Lockdown, we just missed 1 episode. But nonetheless, we were able to do episodal after show chats eh, diba? So I guess for this particular episode, I think this is going to be our 4th episode kung magtuloy-tuloy man ta. 4th series that we will continuously have our episodal after show chats eh. And then in my head, we've seen several series already from Thai BLs and then Pinoy BLs. We've also seen other series na non-BL. So I guess in my head, I was able to like formulate what really counts as like elements that will make a good series, right? Although we have our criteria, our personal criteria, I have something in my head. So I have like 3 parts, right? So one part would be like very critical and crucial. Those would be like that part will be composed of the first 3 episodes. So pwedeng 2 or the first 2 or 3 episodes ng series, right? The next series that will come after, leading to the final episode, would be like the build up, character development, story building, 'di ba? Ando na yung conflict lahat. So pwede nilang paghalu-haluin na. And then the last episode or the last 2 episodes will be like the resolution. So to me, a good series will have a good resolution or a good finale, an impactful finale, and then a good up or succeeding episodes, meaning yung build up ng character, build up ng story in the middle, andun na yung dynamics, you have conflict there, right? Although that such is the case, yung first 3 or 2 episodes talaga yung pinaka-crucial sa akin. How so? Dapat para sa akin, ang first episode should give me a good impression already of the series, meaning I should be able to know what the series is going to be about in the next episodes, right? So may mga series talaga na kulang ng impression for me, meaning I'm still asking what the series is going to be about, right? Pwedeng ang isang series will just, or the first episode of a series will just present me different concepts, babalandrahan lang ako ng mga konsepto here and there, pero tayo pa yung nagtatahi, 'di ba? Parang masyadong sabog pa for me, right? The concept is there, the principle is there, the virtue is there, the vision is there, pero kulang pa ng pagtagpi-tagpi, right? There are other series na kulang ng depth pero naintindihan ko pa rin kahit, 'di ba, like for example, Boys Lockdown, right? Sabi nga natin parang it's plain and simple but we know what it is about, right? It's a plain puppy love story. That's it. So, para sa akin itong series na Cheat, right? First episode pa lang, it gave me a really good impression, right? I was able to preempt what's gonna happen in the next episodes. Given number 1, alam mo yung dialogue kunwari ni Mother, ni Tuesday Vargas, and then the Mistress, parang dun pa lang, you know the story already between the two. And you know what's gonna happen, right? And then even yung mga hirit ni Dong kay Jennifer, right? Amigo to Alora, sabi niya na parang, it takes 2 to say or something, parang gano'n. So parang alam mo na kung ano yung magiging, yung series, you know what the series is going to be about, right? So, and then it's giving us the feels, although sabi ko nga sa group chat natin, parang in terms of production siguro, parang it can be improved still, but first impression ko talaga with the series, parang it's giving me, it's letting me preempt what's gonna happen in the next or upcoming episode. So, and then good, sabi ko nga, first episode should give me a good impression, the next 2 to 3 episodes should be able to like build the character already moving forward hanggang sa mabuo na yung kwento. So parang first episode pala ng Cheetah series, you already gave me that first impression. Even nga yung mga characters na bigyan na tayo ng glimpse, diba? So I think it's going to be a good series for me. Yun lang from my end.
Taray na from your end.
Oo nga, ang haba ng your end.
Oo nga.
Mas maiksi pa yung mas maiksi pa yung ending nung sa Cheat. Yung 3-minute beaten na yun.
Yes. True. Kayo ba, guys?
Ako, sige,
Yeah.
I'll go next. Paano ba? I agree with Mikey. With Nico earlier no, when he said na um kailangan kasi ng lasting impression, especially for the first episode of the whole series, because it will first and foremost, it is the first episode, so it will set the bar of how the succeeding episodes will be. Because it would drive the people who are anticipating for the show if whether they will watch episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, and eventually 6, or will they drop the show now. So personally, I've had experiences na after the first few episodes, I kind of want to drop watching
Yes, true.
because I wasn't happy while as said kung si Nico earlier was the generalist reviewer, I'm the experiential watcher. You know? So the
Yes.
experience was not okay. But in case for Cheat the series, albeit it's so bitten, I must say, I hope all of us
Mm.
agree na
Yeah,
sobrang
yeah.
bitten for me.
True.
Um, it set the first episode set a good parang a good footing on where the characters are already. Like simple dialogue. I simple dialogues would lead to us understanding the tension between Jennifer and Migo's character, you know. And then a few words would you know already what's going on with sabi nga ni Nika earlier with Tuesday and Diana. So
Mm-mm.
simple parang 2 to 3 seconds it takes just 2 to 3 seconds to set where the characters are.
Right.
Although in terms of character development, although this is just the first episode na pero for the first episode, I must say that I'm waiting for VR's character more because I've already seen Migo's character. I've already seen
True.
Jennifer's, Tuesday's, Diana's. Well, the father is not yet. I don't know if papakita ba siya, pero um, I'm waiting to see who VR really is. I mean, sorry, nagbe-base talaga sa actor's name. I'm waiting to see
Mhm.
who VR really is. Like, parang I want to see how he plays into the yeah, it's the Ravenclaw shirt for me. And I want to see how it plays out, you know, how VR's character will make gulo or would really help bond the story. Pero whether VR's character will cause a commotion, I think it will. But whether it if it will be beneficial to tie the characters together or whether it will do both, that's what we will look forward to in the next episodes pa. But I would also have to agree with Nico when he said na the visuals are not as clean, at least for my taste. I mean, um, I get that the rawness adds to kasi I can see na parang there are shaky angles, there are shaky scenes, no. So parang the rawness of it, um, it adds to the element of
Yeah.
being the whole concept of cheat the series, no. Pero sometimes kasi it kinda personally it kinda makes me ano ba, although nakakahilo ng konti, pero it's not as clean. Parang sometimes kasi when you do shaky videos like that, no. Kasi it's I think it's a choice naman eh. Parang it's on purpose if they did it as such, no. Parang when you do it as raw as that, either that you don't have a budget, which I think they have, or you do it on purpose, which adds to whatever purpose they want to use it for. In this case, I would like to assume that they did it on purpose. There are some instances that it wasn't as effective as I thought as I think they want it to be, at least for my taste, no. Pero I really hope some of the ano lang the next few episodes maayos yung kasi may mga instances where there are abrupt changes in color grading. I know that it would
Yes.
True.
parang it needs to be done to set the tone of the next scene. But doing it abruptly, parang it kind of paano ba?
Yeah.
The scenes do not align into parang hindi siya tahe nga, just like what Nico
Yeah.
mentioned. But overall, visuals aside, I love the angles. I love the panning of the camera. I love how they focus on like how focused they are dun sa mismong face ng actors, no. So
True.
you really know na they want us to look into their eyes. They want us to listen to what they're saying because kasi in this case na we're all in the digital platform now, as a viewer, you cannot lean forward. Kasi parang if you want the viewers to lean forward, they would want to assume na they put the angles na as up close, like up close to the actors. No? So it would give you an assumption na you should listen to what he or she is saying. So it would be elemental to the whole development of the story. No?
True.
There are instances lang na medyo shocking for very good reasons naman, especially excluding the last scene. No? Let's talk about it later, how shocking that was. But I want to see how I want to see more of Alora's character, Jennifer, and the mother, because I think they parang it's not usual. I don't know kasi if it's usual for witchcraft element or whatever na you kiss the mother's lips. Parang in a typical Filipino context kasi at that age it doesn't happen quite as often na. So I want to see if it plays. So parang kasi Jennifer also said na you're like to the essence of your power is my power and my power is your power or of some sort. So parang does that seal what's gonna happen next? Are they gonna I don't know like just like Netflix movie like switch again? I don't know like whatever. So I wanna see where that goes back.
Yeah.
Yun.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Iyo as an Iyo fan. I was really waiting for Iyo. Pero
Yes.
yeah, diba? Pero okay lang if he doesn't show in the first episode, no. I will surely see him na dun sa next episode based on the clip of the parang teaser ng next episode, no.
True.
Acting wise, I have no comments on some of the actors acting, no. Although there are some actors na parang feeling ko medyo kailangan ng konting hasa. Kasi I cannot fault them for that because this is the first episode. Just like Gaya sa Pelikula, no matter how praised Gaya sa Pelikula is, even for BBS itself, no matter how much we praise Gaya sa Pelikula, we have to also take into consideration that Pao's acting in Gaya sa Pelikula episode 1 is not as smooth and natural as what
That's right.
he did in the last few episodes. No? So I'm really hoping na magkakaroon ng improvement on acting and then some visuals. But other than that, all good. I'm really happy they did not go for the Siri type of voice overview on narrating
right.
trailer.
I agree.
Yeah, it defeats, for me personally, defeats the purpose of like for the trailer, it defeats the purpose of it being raw and natural because you're kind of used a robotic, like almost contact center-ish voice, no? So parang it's kind of it's not jiving as much as we all wanted to. But I'm really happy they didn't go that route for this episode. Hopefully in the next episodes then. Yeah.
Yeah, Naki, the answer to your question a while ago is said by my partner. Hi, Mahal.
Ayan.
Yeah, when the wind comes from the south, love will kiss thee on the mouth.
So
it's kaya siya ganon.
Oh.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Wait, ako gusto kong maki-weigh in dun sa acting. And alam niyo naman ako, guys, acting really factors in as something that's really important. To me, yeah, I have to agree with Maki. Pero if you try to consider their experience based dun sa interview natin with them, okay sila in terms of acting, ha. I mean, minor na lang. I can sense that they're still new. May mga awkward scenes pa rin. Pero to me, parang I think Alora really stood out for me, at least for this particular episode. Kasi siguro mas mahaba yung exposure niya. I can sense that she's comfortable with the character. Although may mga scenes niya na medyo awkward lang ng konti. Pero hindi na. Parang medyo negligible na siya for me. Hindi na siya, forgivable na siya for me. But other than that, parang, syempre, we'll see in the next episodes. Parang first episode, hindi ganun ka-perfect. But I think, potentially, they're really good. I mean, surprisingly, we've seen other series na talagang, alam niyo naman ako, guys, talaga ako sa acting talaga na parang, ito pala, yung term ka pala, very, hindi unrehearsed, very, sige, mamaya na, nakalimutan ko na talaga yung word. Sige,
Anticipatory.
Anticipatory. And there's another term na naisip ko kanina, nakalimutan ko na lang bigla. Hindi siya, Yeah, another word for rehearse. Meron akong naisip kanina. Anyway, sige, tandaan ko.
Routine. Anyways.
Empisado.
Nagmula, Pinoyhenyo na lang.
Tao ba to? Bagay?
How many words?
Animal? How many words? English, Tagalog, Spanish?
Latin chart.
Okay, go.
Pero yun, I'd like to weigh in din sa acting. I'd like to piggyback on your acting, sinasabi yung acting. Pero
Yes.
I think this is one of the good actings that they've done na wherein there's 4 different characters in the same room na fluid silang lahat. If you understand. That scene when they came in with the pizza box, Alora putting in the cans on top of VR's hands. The conversation in between pulling Darwin and pulling
True.
V towards the couch. I mean, that was all fluid as if they knew each other so well, as if they were all siblings. Kasi like, I compare it na lang with the others na you could still see the tension or you could see the awkwardness pa in a certain fight scene. While this, it was all fluid na as if they knew on point na, hoy, parang ang term niya ulit doon, hoy, pang ilang katulong na namatay nung inutusan mong ganun, tapos nabanat si Darwin, nabanat si ganyan. So it's all like as if they knew, they were reading each other's heads. They were all on cue, on point, on that orchestra plotline movement na yun. And I love that part para for me kasi that's hard to shoot. It's just using 3 different, parang you're panning towards all of them in one take. And the way on naman on editing, I know what you mean. Medyo, I kind of felt like they could have done a same tone siguro with the editing because we saw a different color grading in the intro spiel wherein they brought the baby. We saw a different color grading when they came into the house. And we saw another different color grading when Tuesday met Diana Meneses outside of the house. Then we go back again to the house color grading. So it's that. Because the house color grading is more warm. The convent color grading is more a grayish green. And the outside color grading was lightish blue. So it's kind of inconsistent in a way. Pero I hope na mas fluid sana yung transitions between color grading with regards to that. Pero I get their concepts, why they're doing that. But I like it to be more fluid. Favorite color grading ko was the house, especially with all the candles.
Right.
So, yun lang. I hope they just fix that. And then I'll weigh in later na lang with the other stuff that I have with the writers, fires and bummers. Pero that's on editing and acting.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Si Mikey muna bago mag-teleport siya.
Are you guys hearing me clearly ba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your port key's working so far.
Medyo lag lang siguro.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, I agree with everything that you guys said about color grading. I think that it could have been done a little bit better. It was a little bit strange on my part, especially since they used like a bluish tinge when Diana and Tuesday were talking. I was like, why that particular color? Is it supposed to be cool? Is it supposed to reflect some sort of coldness in between them? But in any case, I thought it was a bit strange, at the very least.
Yeah.
Tapos, I didn't mind the color grading for the puro color grading, no? For color grading for the beginning scene. I actually thought that it was very effective in evoking a sense of time, like passage.
Yes.
Right? Because, and I also especially like that they were showing sort of like bas relief or figures of angels and such, because it sets a very sort of like what do you call
Eerie
that?
tone.
Eerie tone, yeah, is precisely. That's it, right? So I think that there was very effective in the beginning scene. I even wrote it down. I was like, ooh, so cool. Baby, church, orphanage, parang ganun ako, right? So we now know that that was V. V was brought to the church. So you guys talked about other things. I want to talk a little bit about the people themselves, so the characters, diba? So now we know that V was raised in a convent of some sort, and he's under the guidance of the nun, right? And he's only been out in the world for 5 years. So that means that he's been secluded for most of his life. He's not really in the know about a lot of things yet, but he's already developed a very close relationship
With the Wi-Fi connection. Video.
with the
Yes,
siblings,
yes. We need to move the couch.
or where he came from, who his parents are. We don't know that. Diba? So I'm I'm sort of like coming up with a lot of theories here, but I guess I'm gonna leave it at that. I just want to know who
Yeah.
his parents are, where he came from, and why he was abandoned. Okay.
Right.
So siguro in correlation to that would be the nun. So the nun is taking care of V, and apparently the nun and V are living in a particular house in their own place. So I don't know why that is, why it's just the two of them, and secondly, why is the nun very protective of V? And
Yeah.
we also see some kind of religious fanaticism in her because number one, she was very apologetic about V not coming back home. I don't know, maybe she failed at her task in that sense. And secondly, she was, you know what? And I'm not generalizing Opus Dei, but because in Angels and Demons, he saw
Yes.
an Opus
Si
Dei
Silas.
flagellating himself, and we know
That
that
is
she's going to do
Silas.
that. So, but here she hit herself several times. So
Yeah.
it was in Yes, exactly. So it was in repentance of so religious fanaticism. There we go. Now we go to the siblings. The siblings apparently are very comfortable with number one, using magic in the house, right? Well, Alora, apparently it's a hereditary gene where only the females are able to capture or to get the magical gene. No. So Alora is very comfortable using magic with V, and most likely with the siblings as well. So them, it's normal. Also, she's trying to teach V how to teach, but supposedly they've only known each other for 5 years. No, I mean that's the premise, right? So we are. I don't know. I'm just basing it off of what I see, right? And secondly, well, we have the sibling VRC J. Okay, so so far we
Yes.
know that J, Hawaiian pizza. I like Hawaiian pizza, by the way, and I know that J shares a room with Migo. So apparently, sex is also a very open thing among the family because I'm assuming that when the last scene happened, VR was there. I mean, not VR. Jay was there in the other bed because because I know there are two beds there. You see it in the trailer. There are two beds there, and then
Yes,
in between, that's
yes.
where there was a scene, and yeah, etc. So I'm thinking, okay, so this is a very open family. And now let's go to Dong. So Dong apparently appears to be sort of like a sexually charged individual. And he has a thing for I think he has a thing for conquests, right? And the reason why I said that is because we saw the preview. So there was a scene there wherein he was like disregarding J. I mean not J. Daryl V because the thing was already done. So and then we have the mom. The mom was betrayed. She was left by her husband for a mistress. And she also, well, of course, she has magic, right? So here's my thing with the family, with the magic users, right? So they're very used to it. They're practitioners, but they don't necessarily use it for good, because as we saw, the mom on her ex and the mistress, right? Now, magic per se is not bad. It depends on how you use it. Pretty much like power is not good or bad. It's basically how you use it. So if you are in a position of power, if you're in a position of magic, if you use it for good, then you're practicing white magic. If you use it for bad, then you're practicing black magic.
Mm.
Mikey, pakigalaw ang
Kaya
couch.
pa, Mikey.
Magic.
Kapit lang, Mikey. Your portkey's not working.
Comma. Oh my god. Can you see me now?
We can see
Can you hear
you.
me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, so there's always a toll when you use magic, any kind of magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yes.
why we saw Tuesday. I don't know her name, mother. That's why she sort of lost consciousness because she used, I think, a
Mother.
very powerful piece of magic. So that's why she lost consciousness, and that's why when Alora came in, she sort of like kissed the mom and then did that because I'm thinking it was a way for her to give her breath, her energy to the mom,
Yep.
so that she can
Mm.
further or easily recover. So that's what I'm thinking about there. Okay, so
Kapit to
because
Mikey Kapit.
Tuesday did a bit of dark magic. Don't leave us, talag. Oh my god. So there. I'm getting distracted. But in any case, there. I think this was a very solid episode. Can you hear me? Oh my god.
Yes, we can. Yes,
Yes,
we
Mikey.
can.
I think this was
But
a
you're
very
you're
solid episode.
Go.
go lang.
There was a lot of things that happened. We saw a lot of plot possible plot lines. I mean, my mind was going crazy earlier.
Mm-mm.
But the biggest thing for me was they cut it right at that very moment. And I was like, what the hell?
That's the whole
Why would
purpose.
they cut it there?
Yes.
Blue balls.
And can I just
Yes.
Oh,
Blue
yeah.
I
balls is
know.
real. But can I just say, they all were, for the most part, they were all very, very natural. The way that they threw lines,
Yes.
the way that they responded, the way that
Yes,
you guys mentioned,
yes.
the way that they acted in an ensemble, which in other productions we've seen is not as comfortable as this one, but they appeared very comfortable. They appeared very natural. They sounded very natural. So I'm seeing a lot of good points in this episode, right?
Right.
So also based on the preview, I'm also looking forward to a lot of things. So
True.
siguro
Yes.
that's it for now. I'm gonna I'm gonna try to switch to
You,
another data source. And
yeah, you have to
I'll
fix
get
your
back to you.
connection.
Go lang,
You're
Mikey. Go
becoming a
lang.
Piper Halliwell already.
But we heard you. Yes. Wait, ako,
Yes.
naalala ko na talaga yung word for acting. Ngayon ko lang naisip talaga.
Ano?
Unpretentious. Kasi,
Okay. Yes.
parang I think that's a stronger or better term for me. Kasi like, we say, oo naman, natural naman talaga. Pero, alam mo kasi, some actors pretend to be the character. And you can sense and you can see it on screen that they are pretending to be the character, right? So, I think it includes being rehearsed, being scripted. Sabi nga ni Pietro, para doon nagbabasa ng teleprompter in front. True, right? So we've seen other series that would do that, actors doing that, right? Na very, alam mo yun, pretentious, right? Even yung mga side conversations na parang, hala talaga ba? Ganun ba talaga yung side conversation in real life? It's not the case. But here, I can sense that they're well equipped with characterization, I guess.
Yes.
At least for the first episode, ha?
Mhm.
So parang wala masyadong side comment, side conversation. It's calculated, but it convinced me that they are the characters at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yun yung new word pala.
works.
Diba, no? It's unpretentious. Yes.
Yun.
Unpretentious. Di namin
Unpretentious.
mahuhulaan.
It's not
yun.
pretending.
Nakakaloka.
Hindi ko na makagets yun kahit ano yun? Punahenyo ka?
Hirap, diba?
Last kong ginamit yung word na unpretentious sa Scrabble pa nung grade school.
I would need mind powers and mind reading abilities for that to pick it out your brain, Nico. Pero yun lang. On my perspective naman, I love it because it's a new twist on the BL genres that came before them and that will come after them. So they're one of the first that will touch on the supernatural.
Yes.
Especially if you look at the global scale too, in terms of BLs, they're one of the very few that touched on that with the supernatural concepts, I think.
Yes.
I think they're gonna, tapos,
Yeah.
and the beauty, what I like about the story flow for this one, it's you're going from the ambiguity of light, dark, if you notice the trend.
Right.
You started with a convent, then you go into the house where the dark side is, then you get to the spell, you meet meet in the middle ground with Diana Meneses on Earth, Diana Meneses and Tuesday Vargas, then go back to the dark side, then you go back to the convent era, then go back to the dark side. So you could see the flips and the storylines wherein you could see parallelisms of both worlds. And the beauty I liked about it was you could see the parallelisms of how they use candles in both worlds. Now, you're not really sure if it's both good and evil in a way. Parang there's no clear line.
Yep.
Kasi for our thoughts lang when I was thinking na for the nun to slap her in the face, parang that looks really bad to do that in a way, or it looks like that's what the dark side usually do, but it could be it's like what the Opus Dei portrayed in the Da Vinci Code.
True.
Tapos on the other side, you would see naman na the mom is doing this a spell because she's angry because someone she loved was taken away from her. So you see that balance of good and evil in both sides, which I loved very much. Pero there's also these little details because I had to ask my partner regarding all those little details, like how do you let go a candle, because it felt kind of off for me when Alora was blowing through the candles itself. Because normally, I asked him about it, parang normally they would just use their fingers to kill off the fire.
Ganun
Kasi,
lang.
Ganun lang. Kasi, or you just let the candle die.
Parehas kami ng ginawa ni Nico, sorry.
Ganun. Oo. Ganun na nga.
Okay,
And then, or you let the candles die. Kaya, when you see a table of yung parang normal tables na, if you go back to Charm, go back to yung those that showed the series, of witches, check their tables. You'd see why the candles are still there or why there's still wick standing. Kasi what they do is, they let the candle stay until it dies itself. Parang ganun. Kaya ang daming wax, ang daming ganun because it's part of their spell na when the candle lives, your spell would live. Tapos, another plot device that I'm really thinking about going around my head was when my partner said, ang tapang ni Tuesday Vargas to do her spell without a protection circle. If you remember Charm, there's always a circle of chalk around you or a circle around you because you're asking for the elements to protect you regarding that. And Tuesday didn't do that when she was casting her spell. Kasi according to Mikey, if you watch also some series, every magic spell has a price. Or kumbaga, every spell may balik sa'yo. It could come in any form. So you need to have an offering or something in order maging maganda yung balik sa'yo. But for this case, there was no protection circle. So I'm scared of what might happen in season 2 or in episode 2. Sorry, manifesting season 2.
But I think they do.
Yeah, because I think there's gonna be something that's gonna happen to the mother, maybe in episode 2 or 3 or the coming episodes. Because without the protection spell, that's why the magic will be passed on to. I'm just thinking very fast. Na maybe the magic will be passed on to Alora because of that.
Right.
Okay.
Kasi masama yung balik sa kanya. Either the magic recoiled at her without having a circle of elements to protect her.
Right.
And then I like how they cut the end because sabi ko, that's a brilliant hook. That's how you hook me in an episode, in an episode, because you're waiting on the edge of your seat what will happen next and they cut you off.
But effective diba?
Effective siya. And I feel like that if you watch the whole thing from start to end, from episode 1 to the next coming episode, just like you're watching a giant movie. That's what I feel like. And the director, the editors, the team, the production staff know when consciously to cut you off so that you'll be intrigued what will happen in the next episode. Because if for some, they cut you off when it's already dying down, but this one, they cut you off when it's already in the heat of it.
Yep. Yes. Oh, but what do you think about
when
Go Maki?
Sorry. I just want to say na so when they cut it off when you're at the height of your emotions and feelings, so it feels like you were cheated. No? So parang,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I felt. So dun ko na feel yung personally, dun ko mas na feel yung title of ng series aside from on how the cheating revolves around each and every character of the whole story. No? Pero as a viewer, dun ko na feel na parang I felt cheated. Pero okay, I would give them a free pass for that because the title is cheated. So okay, sorry, go Nick.
Anyway, yep. So true.
Oh my God.
So true. Although, what do you think about the ending? To me, kasi, I think it's a good ending. It's an okay ending because it's preemptive of what's gonna happen next, right? Parang and mas nag-anticipate tayo for the next episode, and I'm excited for the next episode. But what do you think? I mean, in terms of like representation, in terms of like portrayal, do you think it's okay to see that on screen?
Yes.
What you mean the last thing that they did?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, why
Yes,
not?
Yeah.
definitely. Why not?
I
It's a
mean,
natural thing to do. I mean,
yeah,
the act itself, because whether you would do it like to someone who is, for me personally, I see it na parang medyo repulsive of what is happening.
Okay.
That's a
Right.
different
Right.
story. Pero
True. True.
the
yeah,
act of like showing it on screen that two people doing it, I think it's okay.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
beautifully done. I mean, it's contextually done.
it's
So,
correct.
Yeah.
because something happened to the main character and he just wanted to help.
Correct.
And it
Right.
was done
Right.
in such a way that it played well with the story, unlike wherein some it would take it looks like a fan service or even worse.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I like what you said, Lance. Yung context and then Maki tama, no? Parang you don't just portray any scene for the sake of. Ito yung sinasabi natin
Right.
time and time again that we
Mm-hmm.
don't just portray anything as just for the sake of, right? We portray it with the context. And here, I think, kasi baka may mga mababasa tayo na tweets somewhere that they're kind of iffy with the last scene. It's kind
Yeah.
of like, they're kind of like 50-50 about the last scene, so on and so forth. So we go back by saying that I think it's a good scene. It's an okay scene. There's nothing wrong with that because there is a context. And context is very important. Yun lang.
Correct.
Mikey,
And it
Mikey,
might
go.
even be a setup for the characterization of Migo, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think that
yes.
he does have that sort of like, what do you call that? I think I talked to Mark about it, that he seemed a little bit predatory at some point. I mean, you could
Yes,
see in his
yes,
facial
yes.
expression that somehow parang
Yes.
he's the type of person who goes after what he wants. And regardless, if, for example, someone gets hurt in the end, at least he got what he
Mhm.
wanted. And once he's
Yep.
done with the person, or once he's done with that thing, then he can easily let go. So I think he's
Cuts
that
it
kind of
off. Yeah.
person. Yeah, he cuts it off, right? Exactly. So I think that, I mean, if we're going to talk about it really, I mean, the amount of skin shown was enough. There were no inappropriate angles. I
Right.
mean, actually, the scene was more suggestive than
Yes.
visual, if you get what I
Exactly.
mean. Because I mean,
Right. Right.
another production might have shown a head bobbing underneath the kumot, but you know,
Mm.
they didn't do that at all, right?
Yeah,
And I
it's
think it was
unnecessary.
also correct. And I think it was also appropriately done considering
Mhm.
the age of Daryl. So I think that was okay, right?
Yeah.
So you guys were talking about the spells earlier, right? And I heard Lance talking about yung magic circle and there being the absence of one. That got me thinking, is it possible that they are perhaps so strong in their power that they don't necessarily need one? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a practitioner or anything, but it also sort of like connected my brain to another thing that Alora suggested that they do in the preview, right? She mentioned that
Okay.
why don't we give Migo, I keep calling them by their real names. Why don't we give Migo a drink, Gayuma, right? To make him fall in love with you. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
somehow that is gonna backfire on her, right? Or is gonna backfire on the entire thing. Because right now,
Correct.
if you take a look at their characters, no one is in love with Darrow. But then the premise of the entire story is all hell breaks loose because they fall in love for the same person. So I
Yeah.
think the Gayuma will backfire, and then all three of them will be going after the character of Darrow.
Yep.
And then that's when it all sort of like becomes really messy. So I don't know if that also involves the protection circle that you mentioned, or maybe maybe magic gone wrong because it was done wrong or
Right.
whatever, or maybe there was a countermeasure of some sort. Because I'm
Yep.
thinking that I don't know. I keep going back to the nun as well. The nun knows that they're friends, but for some reason she had sort of like a
Ulterior
personal thing
motive.
against Alora, right? Because
Yes,
she
she
said,
does.
"Kilala kita," blah blah blah. I mean, I'm like, what do you know about her, right? I mean, why are you so adamant that the boy doesn't spend the night with the
Right.
family, right?
Mhm.
What do you
Mhm.
know? And what is it that you are hiding? Because I'm sure that everyone has
Yeah.
secrets, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
if there's anything that we can go by the trailer, this is a tale of love, of lust, of betrayal, and of deceit.
Mhm. Right,
And I think
right.
the director at one point as well said that the nun is also very deceitful. So is it
Mhm.
possible that she's
Yes.
not
Yeah.
necessarily a nun, but she could also be a witch?
Here, here. Yes.
Or she's a nun. She could be the. Because what they're trying to point out is like in
Grabe.
each of the factions, like we believe that the Christianity religion could be good, and we believe that witchcraft could be bad. But there are different shades to that. Because in Wiccan culture, we have white witches. In the Christian culture, we have the fundamentalists who go overboard and kill.
Mm. True, true,
So
true.
there are dark sides in each of side. What we believe in. There's always light and dark in both sides of
Yeah.
the spectrum of
Correct.
Yeah,
beliefs.
well, it's just my brain going all sorts of different ways because you know me, I like to overthink things, and our director
Yes.
surely is having fun listening to you guys. Well, it's a very interesting thing, and the thing is
Super.
with magic, sabi nga ni ano, 'di ba, ni KD sa ano, sa Mean Girls, the limit does not exist.
Yes. So true.
Right?
Right.
I
True.
mean, you're
Clearly.
only limited. You're only limited by, I guess, your imagination and
Right.
the strength of your conviction. Because
Here,
I
here.
mean, if you want to do magic bad enough, or if you want to do magic which is strong enough, I think you'll be able to find a way to do it, diba? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's my thing, no. Parang, why is it so normal for them, and why is it so easy for them to share, sort of like this world that they have with an outsider, diba? So, parang, what is it about? And who is this boy? what is this?
We'll
What is
all
his
find out in the
origin?
following episodes.
And again, my brain is going sideways because he
Mhm.
keeps. I keep hearing the nun referring to him as anak ka ng demonyo, anak ka ng demonyo. So I'm like,
Mhm.
for real? Could he be
Yes.
the spawn
Mhm.
of
Diba?
Demi?
Antichrist.
Interesting.
Not
Bad omens na
necessarily.
ba to?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know. A person born out of, I don't know, dark magic, or maybe a demi
Probably.
creature.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
I don't know. Because if we're talking
Intrigued
about
talaga
magic,
Agree.
ako.
then
Come on.
that's possible as well. Or a tree, right? But, I don't know. So you know what? And what could be his possible secret? Because they all have secrets. I'm sure they all
Mm.
have secrets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what could
Mhm.
be his?
Yes.
And I think his secret is gonna trump everyone else's secret. You know?
Mm.
Oh, definitely.
Mm.
I could feel that definitely. And it's gonna be the big reveal at the end. So he's
True.
the
And then we
climax.
go to season two.
Yes.
Yes.
Manifesting season 2.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
yes, yes.
Oh
Nako,
my
season 2
god.
na
Gusto ko yung marunong pa tayo sa director tsaka sa writer.
correct. Uy, ako talaga,
Diyos ko.
sorry if na-foresee ko na talaga, like ilang seasons pa siguro to. Like season 2 siguro, season 3 pa. Kasi I don't know, parang there's something new
So many
about this
possibilities.
series.
Yes.
And like, tama Mikey, like possibilities, like, Diyos ko dahil, parang
Endless.
ang daming pwedeng mangyari. It's endless. I mean, maraming pwedeng narratives and stories that they can come up with this particular series. Eh. Ang daming discussion and discourse that we can create out of
Yes.
this. Eh, diba?
And
Kaya,
You know, I even thought that possibly after this first season, second season would be sort of like there is another coven, or there is another witch that that threatens the
Mas
safety and security
Twilight
of the
na pa.
family.
Style,
And
Twilight na to.
then
trilogy
they
na
band
pala to.
together, the family and
Oh
Daryl,
my
and
gosh.
they're sort of like protect the world kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yun pala.
Pwede,
Yeah, it could come
pwede.
from the lineage ni Diana Meneses. Kasi they're the white
I mean,
witches, kunyari.
this can
They're the white
only
Wiccans.
expand. Correct.
Mm.
I mean, this can get bigger, you know? I mean,
I
it's possible
know.
it can go that way.
Uy, spin-offs na according to QTV everywhere. Let's see.
Right.
Yeah, pero that's why
Spin-off?
Uy, may sinasabi si UTV
Yes,
talaga.
please.
Oh, yes!
Please.
Is that Craig Lines or Vaughn? I don't know.
I don't know, whoever you are, thank you for watching BBS.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, and of
Yeah.
course we haven't seen EO yet. So
Yes.
and then
Wala pa.
EO,
Yes.
Next
he has
episode.
already mentioned that we should watch out for his character because I mean he appears to be one thing, but then he might be something totally different. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he also
The
magical?
mystery.
Right?
I love it.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I
He may
mean,
be
I think
part
his
from another
character is
coven.
big. Yeah, I think his character is big because it's I think it is done on purpose na hindi siya pinakita sa first episode. So
Yeah.
for his character to be that impactful for the story, na parang it would, if the first episode shook you, we might as well shook you in the second episode. So we'll have EO's character in the second
Malaki.
episode. So parang yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really hoping to see. Aside from he cute and well talented and
and he can
happy
sing,
crush.
and
Pero
he can
aside from
date.
that, yeah.
And oh my god, I didn't
Hi.
mention this in the live, but you know his backstory, right? Now he was supposed to be a tennis. He was already a
Yeah.
tennis star, but then he got into an accident, and because of that, he had to put tennis aside because it was of an injury, and that's the reason why he went to Spain, because he needed to take a break from everything and everyone, and the entire thing. So he stayed there to basically recover, and when he came back with a vengeance. But his injury prevented him from going pro. So he came back, he bounced back. So snaps for that man. Anyways,
Yes.
interesting.
I know. And for me, they're really, I mean, it's good that they're in the YouTube generation right now. Because if they go on TV right now with that same format, with that same hit, may MTRCB sila with all the letters in it.
Yeah.
Because we all know that our religion would play into play, in especially with media. And I'm so happy that they're taking it on YouTube as a platform. At least with there, you could see what the real story is, how it's uncensored, how it's supposed to be told.
Yeah.
Unless if they go into
Yeah.
our own media stream and TV, they might be censored for a lot of stuff. Kudos, because it's gonna be it's like a commentary against the Catholic Church too. Now there are some religions that are good as the Catholicism, but we just have a different belief. So because I'm scared for the portrayal of how they did the nun. If I were part of the MTRCB judges who want to follow just a certain view of what Catholicism would be, they would have been censored. But I love it. I love how they portrayed it in Da Vinci Code. I like how they did it now. So there you go.
Yeah.
And I like the ambiguity nga
Right.
talaga. The highlight talaga for me is the ambiguity of the good and the good and the bad. Na it's all, at the end of the day, what they're all doing is, with, no matter if they pray to whichever god, they're all cheating life, or they're all cheating the natural way of life in a way. Now you're using something else to be your tool to cheat what is the supposed flow of it. Like Alora's
Right.
side would use magic spells, the other side would use prayer. So in a way, that's kind of cheating what's destined to be if you follow fate, or the fate, kumbaga.
Interesting. So that puts another perspective talaga, diba? Like, I mean, I think it's just different ways of practicing, but it's
Yes.
basically
Yep.
sort of like a similar goal, diba?
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what, I mean, the side that you're in, of course, would naturally believe that that particular side is the way rather than the other side. So that's why they sort of like had an altercation, diba? The nun and Alora, because I think yes, there is already that barrier in between them, between different practices, but I think also difference in beliefs and also difference in personalities.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
see how that plays out.
Yeah, and I'm also going back to the interview they did, because in the random sesh, hi Maring Reka, Popoy, Noel, Craig,
Hi,
and the
Tito.
other,
Hi,
and
Twitter,
whoever's
Titos.
online. Whoever I missed, sorry. But when was actually, I was yesterday, I was listening to their interview with Io, Migo, and si Drake Von.
Like Von, yeah.
And it struck me what the statements about cheating was like. If you look at cheating in another way, na cheating isn't bad if the intentions were good. If you get what I mean, like you're cheating life because you want to go ahead. You're cheating life because you want to pass. You're cheating life because you felt you were anguished because someone cheated on you too, or you felt that it's unfair, that life is unfair. That's why you're cheating. So how would you deal with that as in your conscience? Na you're just trying to balance the scales by cheating.
I guess I have a different take on that because parang I feel na parang if you are using magic or you are using your authority to basically benefit yourself at the expense of another,
Mhm.
then I feel somehow that that is a negative um, practice. Diba? Kasi
Yeah.
number
Mm-hmm.
one, parang, for example, I mean, let's say I want to get concert tickets. And because I want to get the concert ticket so bad, I cut in line because I have a friend already there, and I just sort of like pretend that I'm already with them. So it benefits me, but then I am displacing one other person who might have gotten that ticket if I didn't cut in line. That's cheating, right? So that's at the expense of another person, and for me, that's wrong. So I'm not sure if there is a positive way to cheat
Yeah. Let's
unless
say.
sort of like cheat death. But then again, like you said, Lance, if you are cheating death by prolonging your life, there must be some form because energy is transferred. But you don't create it out of
Yes.
thin air. So it has to come from
Yes.
somewhere. So if you are cheating death, then that means that you are getting that life energy from somewhere else. And that life energy is supposed to be used by that something else. So it can be a bird, a rabbit, a mouse, whatever. So if you are doing that, then you are still, I would have to say, doing something negative. So that's just me. I mean, I don't see how there can be a
Yeah.
positive way of cheating things.
Yeah, like for example, you got a professor that is to go back to school, high school. You got a professor that's so lazy that he didn't teach you anything. So your tendency is you would want to copy
Gusto
from
ko
the other
yan, mga
people that's around you.
professor. Char.
So isn't just to get to pass because you're not learning anything from what's supposed to be taught or from the people that are supposed to lead us. Kumbaga. So how will you deal with that? Diba? I mean, just to get a passing grade for that, na you would need to cheat in a way. Or kumbaga, a term before in college, in high school was teamwork. So it's a matter of perspective. Perspectives, yung mga ganun, yung mga ganun. So it's a matter of views on how you do it.
Sorry. I kind of sort of like got lost in my own thoughts. So are you
Uh,
saying na parang you're sharing answers? Is that it?
yes. Kasi you're not, for example, ako, I'm sharing answers and I'm not, kumbaga, I know that the other people were trying to cheat the professor system or were trying to cheat the system, kumbaga. Like Bad Genius was another way, another example. And I think they use that example too in the random sesh of the Titos too. What
Yeah.
about that? Because they wanted to defy the system. In order to do that, they had to cheat.
But then again, if we're gonna think about it, if you guys are if people are copying from each other, and I'm sorry, I'm the type of guy who doesn't really cheat during exams.
Yep.
So I mean,
Wow.
if you guys, if you guys want to copy off of my paper, that's okay. I'm not gonna cover my paper like some people. Feel free to look, but I'm not gonna show you my paper. You know what? You know what I mean. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just gonna keep it there. If you want to look, go ahead and look, but I'm not gonna do that for you. You know what? So I'm thinking the very reason why we go to school is because we have to be able to sort of like make our way through school by using our own devices, our own intellect, by I guess developing that practice of figuring things out on your own, learning how to do things on your own, basically being self-sufficient. I mean, at least that's how I thought about school. Like,
Yeah.
I need to learn this. I need to work with the system so that I can be, let's say, a good and productive member of society. So, if people sort of like copy off of each other, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, that's their thing. They can do that, whatever they want. But in a way, I feel that somehow they are trying to work against the system, a system which is supposed to help them, right? So just like, for example, we put up laws, right? we put up laws. They're supposed to guide behavior. These laws are supposed to make us be productive and good citizens, right? But then there are people who sort of like don't follow it because there is a better way, or it benefits them more if they don't follow it. So that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I
So
do get you. I do get you. Yeah, and
you
I'm
know,
coming from the other side, na saying, let's say, how would you, if the law doesn't protect you, what would you do? So you have to cheat the law. You have to go against the law because it doesn't protect you.
Go
It doesn't
around the law.
go around the law. It's like cheating. Kumbaga, it's like you're cheating the law itself. If you look at it in another perspective, like let's say the Soji bill, palang. So how
I
would
guess
you
the
go around
definition
the
of
law?
I guess the
How would you
definition of
cheat that law? So
when you
ganun.
say cheat, there's always a negative connotation to it. But if
Yeah.
you say how do we work around it, then that's a little more neutral sounding. Or we can say that how do we find a way to make it work for us so that parang it's like yun nga, if the laws doesn't work, because number one, I agree with you. If the laws doesn't work, because number one, maybe it's not implemented properly, then we have to find a way around that. But if, for example, the law itself is false or fallacious, sabi is I don't know,
Phallic, ganun eh.
phallic.
Panic!
Flawed, or if the law itself is flawed or wrong, then I totally agree. Go against that law if it's totally wrong. But if the law is correct, and then it's the implementation that is faulty, then yes, I agree in those terms. But if, for example, the law is correct and then it's being implemented well, then I don't see why we need to cheat in that sense.
I have a different take on it,
political,
though.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Go, Maki.
I'll have a perspective of my 4 years in college, no, being a historical background, having an historical background. Because for me, I personally believe that while cheating is essentially bad, I agree with Mikey na parang there are
Mhm.
instances or most instances where cheating is not tolerated for you to cheat against or on somebody else for the expense of that person. Yun yung hindi ako okay.
Ako
But
rin.
kasi for me, if you're looking at it in a bigger perspective, no, let's talk about the nation. If the likes of, I don't know, Andres Bonifacio didn't cheat the system, we will not have the Philippines right now. If, for example, the Stonewall movement, the pioneers of the Stonewall movement did not cheat the system, we will not be enjoying this live right now. So there are some instances where you play around the politics behind systems. And where, hala, sorry, naging spectrum pala to.
Okay lang.
TED Talk mo, mama. TED Talk mo. Laban yan.
Yeah, there are some instances kasi na different people also have different opinions or different definitions of cheating. If you say cheating against somebody to the expense of another person, that would, for me, ultimately, like essentially, or like the first thought of my mind, that would be wrong because you're taking away something from that person, whether he or she does not really need it or he or she does not really understand that he or she needs it. Pero the fact that you're taking away something from that person without the context of conjugal relationship or like without the context of consent even, that is essentially bad. That is, pero kasi if there, yun nga what I've said earlier, historically we're going back to the times and ages of Andres Bonifacio and all the other movements, no, na parang the system doesn't work for them. And again and again, power comes from numbers, no? So if you have a big number of people believing in the same thing, or at least essentially, you would have more parang ano ba, more catalyst of change or like more grease to the wheel to keep it rolling and going, no? So yun yung nagpa-paradigm shift ng climate ng consciousness ng society, na parang while society is dynamic and it becomes running and running, no, there are certain changes which we all know, no, na parang um if the general term or if the general culture is different from after the paradigm shift, no, so it would be totally different culture But then again, there are some people na naiiwan dito sa, let's talk about generation. Our forefathers, mothers, or brothers and sisters, I don't know, they do not believe that that being a member of the LGBTQIA plus spectrum is okay. And for us in this generation, we believe that it is like there's nothing wrong with it. In this day and age, there are a multitude of populations who believe the same thing that we do. However, in this day and age as well, there are people who lived the past, like the past climate of ideologies, the past climate of thinking, of culture na nandito pa sa panahon ngayon. Until when, we do not know. Hopefully, I'll keep, okay, quiet. But,
Go lang.
yung mga yon na nandito pa, like the past people who are still here, they're implementers of the system they knew before, and we as the generation now, we are the implementers of the new system that we know now. So in terms of cheating, I guess that we have the perspective that we are cheating them, and they also have the perspective that they are cheating us, and we have the perspective that we are being cheated on by them, and they also have the perspective of being cheated on by us. So it's a matter of perspective, na parang
Yeah.
who cheats who, like I don't know if yeah, parang it's just a matter of whether how much you are okay to do to a
Yes.
certain extent. Yeah.
Right, I
Yeah,
agree. And I think
yeah,
that's what I was saying earlier din naman. But it's with regard to the revolution, with regard to LGBTQIA rights, yes, these are all we've found over time. They're doing it because the system is flawed. And that's why they were going against it. So that's what I was saying. If the system is flawed, that's okay. We can go ahead and fight it. We can go ahead and overhaul it. We can go ahead and change it. Because you are correct now. Parang what's happening is, parang over time, we are developing this sort of like heightened awareness and I guess a better consciousness in terms of what is proper, what is good, or what is appropriate, or what is necessary. So those who are fighting for those rights, those who are championing the change, of course, they feel like they are being cheated by the current system because they, like for example, LGBTQIA, we don't have the rights, we don't have the support, we don't have the recognition, we don't have the representation that we have. So we are going against the current societal norms and systems. So them on the other hand, on the other side of it, they feel like, bakit kailangan nyo pang ipaglaban yan? Di ba tolerated naman kayo, ganito, ganito. So in that sense, tama. We're both coming from different perspectives. But then, I'm just saying na, parang yun nga, if the system is flawed, go ahead and go against it. But if the system is tama naman, then I guess let's follow it. That's what I'm saying. And if it's implemented well, let's follow it naman as well. And I think yun nga, no, parang there is a lot of work that still needs to be done. And I'm sure that the society that we're building, the shared consciousness that we're building, it will still change in the future. Maybe, di ba, parang because that's the thing, parang it's always ever changing. Like who knew, like that there's soji for everyone. Who knew that there's this entire spectrum?
yes.
You know
yes.
what? So the reason why we're here now is because everyone prior to us has, in a way, cheated the flawed system or the incorrect, inaccurate, or improper system that has been there, or that was there. So ang dami ko pang thoughts, pero parang hindi ko siya ma-verbalize right now.
Ako muna while you're juggling all of that. Yeah, kasi I'm using the term cheat kasi etymology-wise, I'm going language geek again. The term cheat comes from Old French, which would mean to fall away or to fall from. So we're falling away from the system. Kaya I keep on using cheat because it depends on which one are you using. Like if you go, because it's like it's cadere in Latin, I think. That was if you go to the Old English, it's like it was originally taken from the word escheat, which meant na
Oh, yeah.
your land is being reclaimed
Right.
by the government because there was no legal rights or legal bound. So parang you're being cheated away with your own land. So yun, and it feels like I'm just hoping now with that same context that you have, like I think my partner said below na witchcraft is like a sword. It depends on who uses it. So
Right.
in a way, cheating is like a sword. Na depends on how you use cheating or how you would fall away from the system. Or in this case, it'll be witchcraft na in the story. And I'm wondering if I go in a bigger, wider spectrum, because I feel like if I'm going to go symbolically and metaphorically, we as a community are the witches in that world. We are the LGBT witches that are said to be the curses, the children of devils, the sinners, according to the nun on the Opus Dei. Now, we believe that, like what we saw a while ago, that our magic are the things that we hold together, that the love that we have for people is something magical, and that we're free to do it, like how it ended in that episode. So if that goes in that route, that becomes a statement against that, I'm happy too.
Right.
And
I
that's
think
one of the
what
things that we are looking forward to. Yes, Nico.
go, Mikey.
No, go ahead.
I think it's a matter of context. I'm trying to like go back to Machiavelli. Machiavelli, mama.
Yes, the
Parang
Tayo
the
talaga
memes.
Mag-story tayo.
sorry. Siya talaga naisip ko talaga. Sabi kasi ni
Yes.
Maki historical eh. Siya talaga eh.
Oo.
Parang
Si
parang
Machiavelli
yung
na tayo.
Machiavelli.
Machiavelli.
Machiavelli, wag matakot.
Spell Machiavelli. Guys, in the chat, spell Machiavelli.
Oo. So, ayun nga, parang it has something to do with context. I think, I'd like to parang share a perspective siguro. Kasi cheating has negative parang perception from people, right? Parang they conceive it as something negative. It's bad. But again, from like what you guys have been talking about, no, parang if you go against an institution that is actually decaying, no, parang it's a social cancer, whatever. I think that's not cheating anymore. That's survival, more than anything, right? So I think tama kayo. Parang it's a matter of putting it into context. Kasi if you treat cheating as a matter of getting away from the system, even if the system is good for your own interest, then that's cheating and it's bad, right? But if you're going against the system and in your head it's cheating, but it's collectively disrupting everybody, it's bad, then I think that's not cheating, that's a revolution. That's changing the system. So yun nga, putting it into context di ba? Parang ganon. Pero ipasok na talaga si Machiavelli.
Yeah.
Gusto ko talaga ipasok si Machiavelli.
Pero, si Machiavelli.
Pero meron ako kasi pero Mikey, do you have anything else to say about cheating the system? Kasi ako may ipapasok akong ibang cheating context naman.
Go,
Siguro,
push.
well, I want to piggyback off of something that you said. Parang
Piggyback.
you said that if, for example, parang it's a rotten system, it's a rotten society, it's a rotten government, then when you cheat, it's basically survival. And I think that's the thing, diba? Parang the way that people are programmed is if we have everything that we need, meaning our societal, psychological, emotional, physical, financial, our needs are met, then of course we can all be well and good and think about others. But then when it so happens that everything is taken away from you, you go back to survival. The most important person that you look out for is yourself. So when you get to that point when everything else is not working for you, then of course what you are going to do is watch out for number one, which is me. So therefore you do what you can, even if it hurts others, to be able to survive. And I think this can be, in a way, how I will perceive what Tuesday's character is doing, because I feel that she was betrayed, she was left by her husband, and now this mistress is talking to her like, what the F? Why are you even here? Show your face, right? So I think that because, parang she was taken out of that comfortable, parang stable environment, then she backtracked and retreated into that survival mode. Like, because she has to protect herself somehow, and her way of lashing out or protecting herself is to inflict pain on others, to inflict pain on the people who inflicted pain on her. So that's why she did the magic spell. Yeah. But I think there's still going to be a comeuppance pa rin.
Yes, there is definitely. Parang karma
Yeah.
can be a bitch sometimes. So may
And
balik.
it's
There's gonna
digital.
be. Yes, I know it is digital now.
True,
Right.
true,
Yeah.
true,
So
true.
yes, Nico, you wanted to introduce something else?
Ayun. So parang ano kasi, parang we're talking about like it's good that we're discussing this because it can be a system or it can be a personal experience, right? So gusto ko
Yes.
ipasok talaga to, and then I want everybody to engage in the conversation. Cheating norms naman. Okay, so ito yung context. Ito yung narrative. Ay, gusto mo yan?
Ay,
Have you
narrative tayo
seen-
game. Role playing to?
Yeah.
Game.
Gusto ko yung speak talaga.
Cheating the norms. Have you seen the Christina Somebody Barcelona, that movie? I forgot the title eh. Parang it has something to do with polyamory. Wait lang, search muna natin para hindi tayo, para accurate tayo.
Pero yeah, okay.
Who's in it?
Barcelona.
Who's in it?
Nakalimutan ko na.
Basta ang topic polyamory. Okay.
Yes, wala lang. I wanna search it. Gusto ko maging accurate.
Kasi that one was that
Vicky- Vicky Cristina Barcelona in 2000.
yeah, familiar na ako.
And the
Familiar ako, yes.
answer
I haven't seen it though.
I've
you have
seen
to
it
see it.
somehow.
It's nice. Sino ba to? Kilala to eh. Ito mo nakalimutan ko na talaga. Anyway, so Vicky Cristina Barcelona talks about polyamory, right? It goes against norms, correct? But
Okay.
if you try to get into the reality of the movie, ang nangyari kasi dito, I'm not so sure if it was Christina or si Christina yata eh. Parang Penelope Cruz was with this guy, okay? They're married, okay, but they seem to be like quarreling all the time, and it seems that the dynamics between the two is not doing well, right? It's not going.
Yeah.
The marriage is actually not going well, right? When Christina joined the party, right? Ang una talaga was Christina was interested in the guy because the guy was hot and all, and then something happened between them. Okay? And then when Penelope Cruz found out, syempre galit-galitan si ate, wife eh, 'di ba? Parang they sort of compromise. I mean, the guy compromised with Penelope Cruz as the wife that, hey, why don't we try including Christina in the relationship? So naging threesome.
Mhm.
And it changed the dynamics of the relationship. Right? So naging okay sila, as in super, it was fruitful. They were so happy. They were ecstatic. And it seems that the trio really works, right? So ako, parang more like a question eh. But I'm not saying that there will be like polyamory in Cheat the Series, but this is more of like a pondering question siguro, something that we
Could
can
be.
reflect, we can talk about, right? Is
Could be.
polyamory okay? I mean, can we be
Yeah.
okay with threesome these days, given the context, given the new age, right?
May add din ako dyan, Nico. Kasi if we're going that far, let's go closer. It was
Yeah.
also mentioned in Pearl Next Door, another series. That
Yeah.
exact word polyamory was mentioned by Fonzie to Pearl because she was in the middle of two women fighting over her, and both women agreed that date us both.
Okay,
So
yes.
that's the basic concept of polyamory. There's an
Right.
equal mutual understanding between the three parties that they're dating all three of them or sharing the same person to give context to the other people.
Pero
So
you're not like together, right?
you're not like together.
Okay.
Or for some cases, I think for some relationships, they're together in a way. They're a trio instead of a partnership.
Okay.
Because there are some people who believe that you can't get everything from one person, and you need a third party to balance out that whatever's missing.
Oh.
So because I have friends who are into that kind of space then. So I was trying to understand their perspectives. When I got to their perspective, parang, I think that was a line that came out of her saying that sometimes in this kind of world, no one's perfect. And if your partner is okay with it, and if it's happy with it, now okay, our setup's going to be like this. Na you can't get everything from one man or from one person. Then it's settled. Because she's in a very complicated relationship, so that's why she agreed to that kind of partnership too,
Okay.
or that kind of trio in a way. So in a way, it's something. On my perspective, it's something new, something we need to grasp because our world was set up to be dual or into partners, into pairs.
True.
But if you look at it in another perspective, in religion,
It may work.
there's the Trinity. There's the body. There's also the Trinity. There's a power of three. There's the mind, the body, the mind, and the soul. So it could come in pairs. It come in threes, depending on what foundation is stronger or what you believe is stronger.
Right.
It could actually be more than that as well. Isn't there a TV series wherein a guy has 8 wives or something?
Yeah, meron pa. Yeah. And there are some societies too na they're polygamous, like our Muslim brothers and sisters down there, na they have, as long as the man can carry or can support the wives or the families of the wives, they're okay with it. And they're all conscious about it.
Okay. Ako sige, pero I am just throwing these narratives. That's one. I mean, polyamory or polygamy is one, right? Another thing is, ito na lang, I'll give you like a narrative, kwento na lang. And probably you've heard this from some of your friends and colleagues, no? Let's say, you're with a partner, right? Usapang LGBT na lang, di ba? Meron tayong tinatawag na, anong status sa Facebook na?
Open relationship.
Open relationship, there you go. Yeah, open relationship. Diba? It was even a film here in the Philippines, right? We had that film. I can't remember the exact title, but that was the context. Parang open relationship. How do you call this? You have a partner, and then open relationship is an agreement between you two that you can actually hook up with other people. Correct?
Yeah.
So, parang there's an agreement. That I think I forgot the film here in the Philippines. It was. Anyway, JC somebody actor.
JC Santos?
Santos yata. And then
someone else.
Mestiza, Tisay. I
RC?
forgot. RC Munoz. There you go. Yes. Si RC Munoz. So, parang,
RC Cola. De joke lang.
Oh my God.
Ibang phrase, ibang brain fog yan.
We need to talk about RC Cola.
yes. We're gonna,
Okay, Nico, go.
Go, Nico.
So parang in the film, they had like a list of rules that they need to agree on, right? The thing is, RC Munoz, her character, wasn't really amenable to these, right? The thing is, parang the guy made it seem like they should agree on an open relationship, right? So they had like a set of rules, so on and so forth, right? Ang nangyari, ang agreement kasi supposedly was pag nasa open relationship ka, and the context is this, or the culture is this, you hang out with different people. You don't just stick to one person, right? Kasi open relationship, you just wanna be experimental about it. You're with a partner, but you are actually doing it with different people. That's open relationship. The thing is, yung character ni JC was only sticking to one woman. So, ang question is, open relationship pa ba yan? Parang ang dating is you're cheating already kasi parang isang tao lang yan eh. So, ibig sabihin, may attraction ka dun sa babae na yun. And then we would hear also other stories like you're with a partner but you're actually hooking up with other people but the partner doesn't know, right? So, ang question ko basically is, why are we hearing these stories and narratives? Is there really an urge or a need of people to really go against the norms or cheat the norms because we have inner animalistic needs, chart. Diba? Something to think about. I'm not saying that we can discuss it tonight. Ha? Abutin ng 5 a.m. nito. Chart.
Alam ko, feeling ko din.
Pag-uusapan.
True.
Oo. Balik pa tayo sa witchcraft and wizardry, ha? Baka nakakalimutan natin.
pero tama ka, Lance. I think witchcraft and wizardry is a way to explain these things, diba? I think that's the whole idea, eh. Parang it's metaphorical. We'll never know. May mga succeeding or upcoming episodes pa naman, eh. But then again, I mean, is it okay to cheat the norms? Is it okay to go against the norms and be like different? Diba? Yun yung parang overall question ko, eh.
Yeah, parang I'd go back to what Mikey was saying a while ago, na as long as you don't hurt someone, as long as you're okay with that, and if you're breaking out, you're falling out of it, falling away from the system or from the norms, na wala ka masyadong inaapakan, edi it's still good pa rin, as long as it's agreed upon, if ever.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
As long as it's consensual, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm thinking kasi maybe a decade ago or something, the thought of people being in a throuple was totally taboo, or it was totally sort of like frowned upon.
In which culture?
It's
The question is which culture?
Yeah, but these days it's more prevalent and it's more accepted. it's more accepted or tolerated. So if you were to ask me before, when I was younger, I would say that no, it should be just between two people, right? But now, given with everything that we're learning about people, about the human psyche, and about emotions and about needs, then my answer now is basically we go back to the question: why is it just supposed to be two people? The very reason is it was practically a concept that was made up. Made up. It was practically a concept that was, I think, solidified by Christianity, because Christianity is the one that said it's Adam and Eve, it's man and woman, husband and wife, right?
Okay.
But like Lance mentioned, and like you guys mentioned, I think, in other cultures, it doesn't necessarily have to be just between two people.
Okay.
So it is all about. We go back to the question: why is this the way that it is?
Right.
And then if it is that way, and this is the reason why, then we question that further. Why? So we go back to, I guess, if it were Christianity, because that's the only way, that's the only thing I can speak to, because that's my religion. I don't know about other religions. But in terms of Christianity, it was supposed to foster a loving home. I don't know. It was supposed to foster a family unit wherein you have two parents and children. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's supposed to foster a family unit with two parents and children, because love doesn't necessarily exist in the family, not in all families. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's awkward,
Yeah.
Right.
So now we find out that, especially for people who might not be practicing Catholics, or especially people who might not be amorous, or who might not be sort of like, who might have subscribed to a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, then we see those people trying out relationships with others, with more than one person, or having multiple simultaneous relationships, or having multiple partners and such. So I don't have an answer for you there. Personally, I am devoted to one, but I understand and acknowledge that there are people who feel that their love should be given to more people, or that they need more people to love them in that way, in a romantic way, right? So I acknowledge that that can happen, and I also acknowledge that it depends on the people in that relationship.
Right.
And the danger there is, if you're not clear about the expectations and the rules and the guidelines, and you don't communicate just in case something changes, then therein lies the danger. Because, for example, in the movie that you mentioned, there's supposed to be an open relationship. So why is it just one person? And it turns out that you want to be with that person more than you want to be with me. So what am I then? Am I still in a relationship with you? Or do you want to get out of this relationship and be in a relationship with that other person? So it's basically, again, we go back to not norms this time, but more of like the agreement between the people involved in the relationship.
Yes.
So as long as you have that discussion, as long as you agree, and if anything changes, you talk about it, then basta happy ka, go. But I, for one, I'm a devotee. So,
Same.
and that's
Same then. It's their philosophy, not mine. So I'm sticking to what I'm high.
just to be clear, though.
Just to be clear. Pero yeah, would you think that concept would come into Cheat the series?
Yeah, I have actually a question related to that. Parang if since we've seen the first episode now, so what are the instances? No, we can explain it or not, naman. What are the instances where we've seen cheating or scenes here in the first episode? And parang which scenes, particular scenes, nakita natin yung concept of cheating, at least for this episode.
Or is the first episode enough for us to say that, diba?
I think we're gonna see more.
Yeah,
so
also.
I'm still holding off.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Parang I'm still curious, pero so far we've been cheated on kasi naputol siya bigla. It cut us off immediately.
Yeah, April is real. For real. But that's a good hook, like you said, Lance. It's a very good
Yeah,
hook.
yeah, it is a really good hook. That's why I love it.
I was
But-
adamant.
but-
I even tweeted episode 2 now.
Yeah, me too.
I've never done that before. Like, direct, what are you doing to us?
Direct. Kaya ang sinabi ko nga doon ang sarap makasumpa katulad ng lutong ni Tuesday Vargas for episode 2.
Yun, may question talaga ako. Kaya ba nilagay sa Tuesday ang cheat the
Because of
season?
Because of Tuesday Vargas. Yeah, Tuesday was brilliant, by the way. She was great in the episode.
We love ko yun.
Yeah.
Magaling yun umarte.
So it should be Cheat Day Tuesday Vargas. Charot.
Uy, pero alam nyo, parang I just feel like, I think Maki said this, and Mikey also, that this series has a lot of possibilities. Tayo nga, ang dami ko na naisip talaga bigla Kasi like cheating the system, cheating whatever we got used to, cheating norms, whatever. Ano nga ba talaga? Diba? And in the first place, ba't nga ba nag-cheat yung tao? And diba, at the end of the day. So, I don't know. Parang I don't know if what we've discussed now will play out in the next episodes. We'll see. But there are a lot of possibilities like we can think of
Right.
in the next. Ilang episodes pala to, Mikey? Hanggang ilang
6.
episodes?
6.
Talaga?
Kasi I remember I remember them saying they shot 5 days and 6 episodes.
So hanggang Enero pa to?
No. 6 weeks.
No,
5
6 weeks.
days timeline. This entire story.
5-day timeline.
plays out 5 days,
Yeah.
and 6 episodes. So I keep thinking 656.
So hanggang Enero pa to?
No. 6 weeks to shoot.
Okay.
It's 6 episodes, and those 6
Okay.
episodes.
Oo nga. Hanggang Enero nga.
That
Kasi
would be-
tatawid siya.
Hanggang
yeah.
Kasi
January.
once a week lang naman.
Gusto ko kasi panoorin ni Mike. Excited na siya to see VR more
Enero,
Hi,
that's
VR.
like 30 days, 60 days away.
So ibig sabihin, magtutuloy-tuloy pa talaga ang BBS hanggang 2021. Wala
Oh my
tayong
God.
season
Yeah.
ender nito.
Oh my God.
No, because
okay.
the shows keep coming. The shows keep coming.
Yeah, laban.
Laban. Meron pa. May year home pa.
So, Aki, saan na yung pahinga natin? Wala na? Mama, na?
No,
Wala tayong
Christmas week.
Christmas break.
We should take a Christmas week.
Yeah.
We should take a Christmas week. Oh.
Yes.
But when? Kasi tatamaan ng isang episode
Second
for
and last.
cheating series.
Oh no.
Unless they take a break too. Unless they do that too. So let's see.
I don't think
Oh.
they will. I don't think they will.
Mikey, i-commit mo, dapat sumama ka sa live kahit nasa Cebu ka ha. Sinasabi ko
Oh my
sa'yo.
God. I will.
Oh, that would be fun.
Well,
Mikey and
not to be
Cebu while
there.
doing a live.
I'll be
Yeah.
I think I will be. It depends on what happens in the next couple of weeks. It depends on what happens.
Yeah. Okay,
Because it might be there,
wait.
it might be here. You know.
Depende.
Yeah,
Depende pa
depends.
rin. Uy, may share talaga ako. Since si Mikey nakasuot ng Ravenclaw na shirt, no? So I just realized that, I mean, we are all fans of Harry Potter, right? Tama ba? Tayo lahat
Yes.
dito.
Yes.
Na-realize ko na ibang discussions, like side topic na talaga to, or conversation. Like, how do you know that you're a fan? And I just realized that being a fan can be so relative. Like ako kasi, I'm not the type of fan na would go for the actors, right? Hindi ako tipong, Daniel Radcliffe, oh my God! Ganon. Emma Watson, ganyan. Hindi ako ganon. And hindi ako tipong nagtatago ng paraphernalia or like anything. Ang meron lang sa akin, like I just have the books and that's it. Yun lang
Same.
yung meron sa akin. Diba? And then, I wouldn't even go as far as like going online, going to Pottermore ba yun? Pottermore ba yun?
Oo.
Tapos papasort ka, ganyan. Never akong dumating sa point na. Pero, naging fan ako ng witchcraft and wizardry. Doon ako.
Yes.
So, na-process ko siya in my head na parang I'm not necessarily, I mean, I like the story, right? It led me to witchcraft and wizardry. To the point na gusto kong bumili ng mga books on witchcraft and wizardry. Nagbabasa-basa talaga ako. Yun! And then, sinabayan pa talaga ng Charmed before. So, feeling ko parang witchessa talaga ako ng mga panahon. Yun.
Pero
Gusto ko na-
are you the super fan that would remember every freaking name of every character?
No.
Hindi talaga. Kayo ba?
Hindi rin ako ganun. Parang, kaya I'm not really a super fan in such a way, but I'm a fan in a way na I like the story, I like the plot, I like that.
Right.
I have two wands in my room. I have the Elder Wand and the one by Nicholas
Nice.
Flamel, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Andyan, pakita mo. Andyan.
Nandun doon. Kukunin ko pa.
Joke lang, wag na. Next time. Next CD,
Next episode.
Session.
Sige.
Well, ako naman, I have...
Sige,
go
ikaw
ahead.
mo.
Okay.
Ikaw muna.
Mikey, go.
Okay. I have the books. I have the shirt, and I have a scarf as well, a Ravenclaw scarf. And I have a couple of figurines of Hermione and Harry.
Okay.
Because they were given by my sister. And then I bought keychains.
Yes,
But,
I have
okay,
that too.
That's pretty much it. Like I'm not the type to buy costumes, and I'm not the type to buy like wallpaper or banners and such like that. So I mean, I guess little things like non too conspicuous, but at least something that's sort of like it's a souvenir, memorabilia. But yes, just small inconspicuous things for me. Yes.
Sorry, nakita ko kasi yung comment.
Yeah. Lance, sagutin mo yan, Lance. Sagutin mo
yes,
yan.
sagot na po.
Wait. I have a question. Bakit wand? Bakit hindi Nimbus 2000?
Oh my God! Ayoko na i-flash. Tanggalin ko na. Magalit si Lance.
The problem kasi with the Nimbus 2000 kasi matinik yung dulo niya. At least sa one smooth pa din.
Oh my God. Grabe kayo. Alam mo, ito sa Petro talaga eh. Woo!
Pala.
So, it's about to go 12 na eh.
It's so wild for me.
I know, right?
Bakit ikaw muna, i-neutralize muna natin.
Wingardium Leviosa, ganun din.
I knew that I'm a fan. Actually, I didn't know I'm a fan until I had the consciousness that I am. Because Harry Potter, like the first movie, was released pretty much when I was a child. So parang I grew up with Harry Potter. Na parang every single movie na lumabas.
Yeah.
And even the book, no, kasi sumabay, no, parang nag-overlap na. So parang every release, I mean, I'm updated on when it is released, no. Yun. Pero as far as I can remember, hindi ako yung type nga, again, like Nico, hindi ako yung type na would really remember all the details, would really remember all the names, all the spells, all the whatnot of Harry Potter, you know. But I do have the ang tawag dito? The robe, the cloak, the robe of Ravenclaw.
Oh my God.
I have the scarf of Ravenclaw and the necktie of Ravenclaw.
For apat Ravenclaw.
Yeah, the books were missing. They're already
I still have mine.
Where
hardbound pa.
Yeah.
Hardbound pa yan.
Yun. It was a gift when Goblet of Fire was released. Yun. So nung apat pa lang siya, it was given to me as a gift. And then I just bought yung mga sumunod na piece by piece. So hindi siya yung like the one you can buy now na set talaga, like you have really visually appealing yung ang tawag sa side ng book. But anyway, yung side ng book visually appealing kasi it would paint the whole picture or at least the
Cute.
Yun. Parang wala ako noon. I mean, I lived with the experience of having Harry Potter grew up with me. True. So when I think if you can remember, when Daniel Radcliffe had this accused photo shoot before, as a child, I was kind of scandalized as a child because that was my icon growing up kasi I grew up with him. I mean, tapos nung nakita ko yung photo shoot na yon, nung una, I wouldn't lie, I was drawn into it for very specific reasons, which I think we can share now because it's already 10 pa lang pala.
By all means, chart.
Yun. we can yeah, I was hooked into it. But then again, at the back of my mind, na parang, oh my God, what will happen to my Harry Potter image of him? But then again, as I grew up, no, I became more open din naman with the idea of nudity
Right.
for the sake of art. So
True.
okay lang.
True.
Hindi naman nag-tarnish or walang nabawas, walang nabago on how much of a fan
Same.
I am. Pero yun nga, hindi ako yung very into details na parang each and every spell and name and character, how each and every character parang nagbabangga sa story. No, I'm more into what lessons I've learned. I'm more into what what the story metaphorically suggests on how I
Yan.
relate to it. So
True.
yeah. So I was really sorry. Ang haba na sinabi ko, pero I'm really um disappointed with the writer, with what is happening with the writer on recent days.
Yeah.
So yun. Yun, medyo nagka-effects sa akin with Grindelwald. Yung kay, ano na, what's his name? The Danish girl.
Johnny Depp. Oh.
Kay
Eddie Redmayne.
Yan. Medyo ano ng konti because of the revelations with the writer. Pero I'm still watching. Yun.
Sabi ni Tyson sa interview sa Rappler, no, parang the writer is an exclusionary feminist daw. Tama ba? Ay,
yes.
oo, an exclusionary feminist na parang anti-trans exclusionary feminist na parang babae kami, kayo hindi. Parang gano'n. Yes. Wait, may tanong talaga ako dun sa photoshoot na yun, mama. Ano ba? Magic Wand ba yun? Or Nimbus 2000 yung Anes?
I think there's an upgraded one. I think it's Nimbus
Meron ba?
3000.
Oh!
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't
Push
remember
natin.
If
everything.
it flies on its own, it's a Nimbus for me.
So
I think
Jack
it
be
can.
Nimbus, Jack be quick.
Jack be quick.
Ay, gusto ko ito.
But
Jack-
clearly,
Jack-
it's not a Quidditch. Clearly.
Oo naman!
Oo
Mama,
naman.
cannot be!
No.
Diyos ko, dahil. Huwag
Just
ganun.
go.
Ah, but ito na na. Siguro since pag-usapan natin yung nudity part, do you think there will be like more skin in the series?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I remember in the interview with the BL reactors, or was it that interview? But Migo at one point said that there was a lot of skin. There was no, sorry, it was VR. VR had an interview with someone. It was in a restaurant, I think, and then he said that there was a lot of kissing and a lot of humping. So more to look forward to, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, more magic with that.
Uy,
More Nimbus
sorry, may
2000s.
Yes! Pakitaan mo kami, amigo. Charot lang. Wait, joke lang talaga. Wait lang, I just want to add this. The visuals, di ba parang, I like the visuals also, the first part. Na parang, this series has, parang subs or subtitles in many languages.
Yes.
And it was
Yes.
shown in a visual manner. And to me, that's very
Smart.
effective, Yes.
Yes.
So yun lang. Good job.
It was an advisory, so
Very nice.
it made it very visual for people. Yes.
Yes.
And also, since you mentioned that, I also noted that there was I think the text was a bit small, so that could have been bigger. It said that Cheat is intended for a mature audience. So if they can make that bigger, because I think that the themes are very mature or for a mature audience. So that's a good point for them.
Yeah, and I hope they fix the end credits too. Parang it felt a little hodgepodge in a way, how it's placed.
2008 for me.
Yeah, mga ganun. So I wanted a more cleaner look to that.
Yes.
Right.
O, diba? Yeah, that's what you hear from Brouhaha B Squad. You don't hear everything good. You hear everything.
Yes. You see, yep. And Leon has a pahabol question pala. What do you think of the veil scene with Jennifer and the mother?
This job.
Yeah.
Leon pala.
I think you mentioned that Lance kanina, no?
Yeah.
Can you mention?
Yeah, kasi remember that she didn't have a protection circle around her, so that could be the recoil of her magic. Na without having a protection spell, it could be after effect that hence the black veil. The mother could be either in a comatose or dead.
Or
And hence
yeah,
Jennifer
probably in
is
a
taking the
deep
power.
sleep.
Or in a deep sleep
Oh,
because she needs to
there was,
energize.
We know that she's
there
not
was,
dead because I've seen
yeah.
scenes
Yeah, there's still more scenes
in
pala.
the
Oh yeah,
trailer
there are more scenes.
that she has more to do. She has more to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
But
teaching Jennifer pa.
there's a picture. Yeah, there's a picture na meron siyang parang veins ba yun or something, like scratches sa face.
I
Dun
don't
sa
know.
particular scene na yun. So,
Right.
I don't know, like veins ba yun? Or like, are those the aftermaths of the spell? Or like the residue of whatever power,
Possibly.
witchcraft
Right.
or something?
Right.
So,
Right.
yun. I'm looking forward to what happened to her. Well, did she choke or whatnot? I don't know. Let's see.
Is that the
Shall
scene
see.
wherein there were flashing lights and she was sort of like
Gusto ko yung
gyrating
tumawa
or
si Nico
something?
sa choke.
Sorry, go, Mikey.
Sorry.
Yeah, but we're definitely gonna see more of her. I don't think her story is done
Yeah.
because we have to see what happened with her spell and what the recoil is gonna be like.
Yeah.
So
Gusto ko talaga yung mga references natin ngayon, no? Nimbus 2000, Ugat, ganun. Ayan, Magic Wand, 'di ba?
May birtud
Diba?
ba lalabas afterwards?
by the way, I'm also wondering about the mistress because before she went to her car, she said something like, "I wish you and your family goodness and light." So that's a very sort of like, I mean, I don't know, but it seemed like a very sort of like witchy thing to say.
Yes.
Or
Is
someone
she
That's why I thought she
Glinda?
could be a white witch, kumbaga. She's like
could
the
it
other
be?
side of it.
Yeah. But then again, I was surprised. I mean, I kind of thought that she might be, but then she seemed surprised that Tuesday got her blood sample. blood sample, you know,
Let's sample.
because if you were a witch, you would know exactly what that was for. I mean, I knew what it
Yeah.
was for, and I'm not even a witch, you know.
True.
So probably not. But I mean, it just struck me that goodness and light thing because it's not something
Yeah.
that like a regular person would say. But probably a regular
Oo
person would say,
nga.
"I wish you and your family
Totoo.
good health," or "I wish you and your
Totoo.
family well." Why goodness and light? So
Ano
but I don't
yun?
know. I might just be overthinking
Or
it again.
Medyo odd
or was
lang,
there an
yeah.
acknowledgement that Tuesday's family is the dark, so she
Yeah.
wished them light?
Yeah,
Pwede,
possibly.
Although
pwede.
piggybacking on what Mikey said, no,
Piggyback.
yung sa car, yung na-prick ng something.
Yes.
It was, I get that what is it for? However, honest to goodness, it kind of felt anticipatory for me. Kasi parang,
Yes.
Yeah.
if
Gumanon siya eh.
na-prick ng something, and then she said na parang, wala, parang, it's off for me,
Oo.
especially
Yeah.
knowing that Tuesday's family dwells into
So, wala lang sa
witchcraft
kanya.
and wizardy. So parang
True.
if wala lang yun, how naive you. So pero parang yung characterization, like how naive nga yun, for lack of a better term, na hindi mo
Yeah.
maintindihan what is it for. So I hope it gets addressed kasi it's kind of parang medyo slight lang naman downer for me yung scene na yun. It wasn't as effective as I hoped it was nung
Dapat mag-react ka na dapat. Pero feeling ko talaga, si Tuesday Vargas doon, medtech talaga siya doon, mama. Feeling ko talaga. As in, mga blood sampling, di ba?
rapid test pala yun.
Ay, oo pa.
Oo nga. I-check niya kung may
Bakit?
COVID ba sila or wala.
Nagbago na pala yung paraan. Nakala ko through the nose. Hindi na.
Hindi na.
Hindi, through candle reading na ngayon.
Oh my gosh. Nakakaloko. Ayun. So, ayun. But what do you think is going to happen in the second episode? Because I'm thinking, well, we're going to see EO, right? And then, based on the preview rin naman, no? Based on the preview, we're going to see sort of a retaliation from V with Jennifer's help.
Sorry.
Yeah, for Dong, right? With the Gayuma, which is gonna backfire, of course. And then we're gonna see EO come along, and yeah, I think I'm gonna stop there because I don't know what else is gonna happen. I mean, I can think of other things that can happen, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be in the second episode. I don't know. It's 5, 6 episodes is so short, no?
Yeah, season 2, please.
Yeah.
Season 2 direct. Season 2.
Super short.
But there's something with there's something with watching it on the premiere, no? Kasi you don't know how long the video is. So parang
Right.
nung kinot nila doon, na parang that's so abrupt for me. Like I felt cheated and violated. Na doon nila pinutol talaga. Like oh my god, I was feeling things.
Right,
Pero
right, right.
it's different kasi when you're watching it post premiere kasi you kind of have the at least the visibility of how long the episode is. So
Yeah.
if you know that you're at the last 3-minute mark, so you already know na parang mapuputol to, like mabibitin ako in this episode. Pero watching it in premiere na you don't know how long the episode is, it's you really feel cheated. So ayun.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
kind of felt
yes.
that way as well. But I'm now good with it. I'm okay with it now.
But are we watching the next episode?
Yes!
We're
definitely.
I'm watching season 2.
Yeah, me
You
too.
alone?
Manifest. Manifest.
Manifest season 2,
Direct.
please.
If you're here.
Derek Vaughn.
Direct. By the way, Direct, if, for example, you need extras, you know,
You need consultations, brainstorming ideas. We're here.
brainstorming, you know.
Oh, kahit voodoo
Or if
doll
you
lang
just
ako,
wanna-
okay na ako.
Yes, you know.
Tusok-tusok.
Or if you just wanna hang out.
Ay, yes. The magic wand, mama. Char.
At ng Nimbus 2000.
Yes! Yeah.
Sakyan mo yung Nimbus 2000
Oh
na
my
yan.
God,
Sakyan mo.
grabe.
Dadaling ka niya sa malalayong lugar. Charot.
Na-excite ako,
Yes.
grabe.
Yes, definitely very exciting. So Tuesdays are never going to be the same because cheap.
I know.
Yeah.
You know? My gosh.
We're back on Tuesdays na.
Right.
Ah,
Tuesday Vargas, lead us
Hi,
the
Tuesday
lead us the way.
Vargas. Yes.
VR
Yes.
is there pa pala. Hi, VR.
Oh, hi,
Ano ba
VR.
kasi-
Hi,
Di ba may
VR.
ano? May
VR
Barda
kaya pa? VR kaya
Also,
pa?
sorry.
I think umalis siya
Last
and
na.
bumalik siya.
Oo.
Yes, Maki.
Parang, how can he sleep? Is he really in deep slumber?
Yes.
I know.
Because I've
Like,
been in the same situation in the past, but I was not sleeping. Like I was aware of.
I'm sure.
I didn't mind them naman, pero yeah,
Mm.
like how. Sorry, konting kaluskos lang kasi gising ako, so I don't know if.
Light sleeper.
I think he was away.
Yeah.
And I think that he also has a thing for V, but you will see that play out in the upcoming episodes because I've seen some clips in the trailer, so I know that he's been looking. He's definitely interested,
looking.
just not manifesting it now. But it will. I think
VR
manifest-
kasagot. Hindi, joke.
VR pakisagot.
May tanong talaga si Joy. O, pang-ender na lang natin.
Joy, meron.
Hey,
Nagkilala
Joy.
tayo. Nasa GDM lang.
Yeah, I think yes.
There is.
Mhm.
Kasi they come from different, they're still part of, especially for those rooted from the Babaylan culture and from the shaman culture, animist cultures, they still exist.
Uy, sorry. Natawa ako sa sinabi ni Kiko. Tumigil kayo, magtatarin talaga ako. Char, gusto ko yung tatarin. Di ba may mga ganyan?
tatarin?
Ganyan. Ano pala sa
Ano yung magtatarin?
Is it a try?
Tatarin is, hindi, merong movie si Erika Perelejo before na parang ano siya, gano'n, mambabarang, tapos may mga palaspas silang ganyan, ganun eksena. Parang ganun yung storyline niya. Hindi ko nang matandaan. Basta may ganung mambabarang siya doon or something. Tapos naging na-centralized siya with the palaspas and everything. So sensual siya na movie actually. Kaya magtatarin ako, Char.
Ooh, Kiko, your mind is going once again in carpets. Baka kailangan mo ng gin sa buhay mo.
Yes.
May follow-up question si Joy.
Ayan. Oh.
Oh, you think na pwede natin, do you think that you could show to the other people, we can show this show to other
Yes,
people?
yeah.
I mean, it is a BL, but it's not, doesn't revolve around it.
I mean, BL should, but di naman.
We don't know yet if it doesn't really revolve around the BL like tropes and whatnot kasi this
Yes,
is the
yes,
first
true.
episode pa lang. But basic on so ako talaga sumagot ako pala mukha ko. But basing on what we've seen in the first
Please.
but basing on what we've seen in the first episode, if we can show it to other people, I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
the disclaimer in the first part would answer that if that person is mature enough to to not feel violated and offended with what he or she will watch. I think it's a good ano din, it's a good show to people, the universe rather. Charot, joke lang.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I'm wondering if for some people it may be R3. What do you call that? Regulation.
Mm,
Because diba, parang the BL part is not the main focus. The main focus is really the magic. So in that sense, for other people, it may be considered as regulation kind of representation, diba? Because since they are sort of like a magical, unconventional family, then they might take it as more acceptable because that is the kind of setting that we have here.
right.
But yeah, I mean, for me, show it to everyone. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
it can stand on its
Yeah.
own, whether it's a BL or not. I mean, it can stand. I mean, it has a lot to offer. It's an interesting story. And
It
for
is.
anyone who's curious about the magical arts or the supernatural, it's definitely something that they can, tune in for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just to add to what Mikey said, because it's just a different universe. Same story, different universe. It just happened to be enveloped in a little bit of darkness. Unlike Boys Lockdown has more fluff, but it's the same story anyway. Because to give you perspective, remove the darkness out of it, follow the same flow. You just have an ordinary family. Then nagkataon na the oldest brother fell in love with the friend of Alora of Jennifer. So it's the same plot, but it's still a BL. It's just happened to have magic in the universe.
Right. Lance, I think
But
ito yung
then-
sinabi mo before na parang whenever you create like stories or narratives, parang you don't come up with like the likes of Bagani tapos BL. Imagine mo Bagani BL, 'di ba? Medyo ang off na nga ng mga ng elements doon. Biglang ito kasi
Jezebel tas BL. Charot.
Okay lang, actually.
Okay lang.
Curious ako doon kung paano maggagawan yung dalawang sirena.
Jezebel, pero wag Bagani, mali-mali na nga, 'di ba?
But I want to go back to the part where the boy is falling in love. I think that it's not going to happen naturally because I think it will be through Gayuma, right?
Let us see.
Which is gonna make it more acceptable to those who are, maybe a little uncomfortable about the BL genre. Because I mean that's what I got from the initially I thought before watching the first episode, I thought that Migo and V would naturally fall in love. But because of what we saw in the preview and because of what happened, then he has no he has no romantic feelings towards V, and I think it will only be induced or whatever by the Gayuma. So that's the complication because you're cheating that person.
Yeah.
By making him feel
Right.
feel something that he wasn't supposed to feel in the first place.
Mali. Ayoko ng gano'n. Sorry.
Diba?
Pero siya ba talaga ang gagayuma or it's gonna be Jennifer doing the gayuma?
It's gonna be Jennifer doing the gayuma, definitely. So kumbaga, ipapainom lang kay Migo and maybe inadvertently mainom ni Jay, but I don't know. Eventually, it's the three of them. So I want to see what happens there.
Yeah.
What if nainom nilang lahat?
Correct. What if nainom nila lahat? Or the magic backfire.
Sense 8.
Sense 8. I love Sense 8. Yeah.
Sense 5.
Sense 5. 5 will be live.
But Sense 8, they are psychically linked eh. I don't think there's going to be a
Yes.
psychic connection here.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Wait na. Gusto ko talaga sinabi ni
Sense 8.
Petro. yung Encantadia na BL ay bagay na bagay kasi mas
Please.
Bex na Pashnea, mga Ashti, gano'n. Char.
Oh my God, yung hawak ni Danayan, dalawang arnis. So,
Yeah!
I wonder how it plays in the story.
Guys, are you seeing what VR is putting in the chat? He's
Yeah.
really VR, why do you do this to us? He said that episode 1 is just a 3. And then episode 2 is gonna be a 7.
Oh, no.
I cannot count. The gays can't count.
10 yan.
Tapos na naman sinasabi, you all can't handle episode 2. We're going to level 7 to 10.
VR pag hindi yan nagkatotohanan. Nako, mag-uusap tayo.
Nako.
VR, papasok ka dito next week. VR, pasok ka next week. Yes. Kami yung moms, tapos kayo mag-face-to-face ni VR.
Never. I just go. Baka magka-memo.
Sama natin sila para kompletang memo.
Oh, may bago. One of us will jump to level 7.
Only
one?
Only one?
So,
I think it's gonna be Jay. That will jump to level 7.
Yeah.
So his character.
True.
Wait, well, it's either Jay or si Dong because there is a car sex scene.
Wait, pero I just want to say this, no? Parang the cast, basically VR, it's not just because nandito ka sa comment section or sa chat, no? They did not disappoint really, at least for this first episode. Kasi ako, I've been disappointed. I was disappointed in some series. May mga serye talaga na hindi ko na pinapanood. Bala kayo
From the get-go, no?
Yes! Bakit ba, Char?
Yeah. And according to him, they haven't even watched the second episode. So they'll be surprised too.
Yes.
We're all gonna be surprised. I mean, he was also shocked. I mean, based on what he wrote in the chat, he was very shocked in what happened with episode 1.
Natatawa ako sa mga combi na mga plots. Umulawin crossover Encantadia BLM. Tapos meron pang Rattle and Roll. Diba?
Oh my God, yung Undine.
Yeah!
Wait. Gusto ko ng Koke at yung Sabanga. Crossover.
Yes, pwede. Meron pang Darna daw. Ganyan. Gusto ko yun. Hoy, gusto ko yung mga ano ba yung Chris Aquino? Yung
Bagwa.
Yung Bagwa, ano to? Pungsoy, mama.
Pungsoy.
Diba?
At saka Suko.
Sisigaw ka. May sigawan doon. Renton! Mga ganon. Diba? Yung Bagwa!
Tapos lalabas yung ad ng Shopee.
Nakakaloka.
Yes.
Ayan.
Oh my gosh, ang daming mga ano.
What about you guys in the chat? Do you have any predictions for episode 2? At UPR.
Right. Except VR. I think
VR, you know the script.
But I think there will be some form of parang tension between Dong and V. Basing dun sa snippet nung
yes.
He didn't acknowledge when V returned. So parang, did V long for what he experienced? Because I don't know if it's the first time he experienced that. So parang nagkaroon ng first level of sexual attachment. So he kept on like going after Dong. So parang, I don't know if did the spell run off na? Like, was there really a spell to begin with? So again, no, endless possibilities niya. And kung how napunta sa ganung sitwasyon yung characters ni Dong and ni V. So parang
Yes. We know, well, based on the trailer, we know that V is a virgin, right? So that's why he was a virgin ka. Di ba alam mo naman?
Looking forward. He was excited.
That was, well, I think the first episode is basically just a BJ, di ba? So maybe the actual will be in another episode. Hindi ko masabi.
Kaya mag-level 7 sila?
Correct. That might be the level 7. Or the level 7 could be Jay, you know, parang that car scene. I know something happened in that car scene. So it could be that as well. we will see. We will see a lot of things happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I have an honest question though. Sorry, ang
Go.
haba na 2 hours na pala. Pero I have an honest question lang.
Carrie.
Because although I am from a Catholic school in high school, pero I'm from a Catholic school that wasn't run by nuns. So I wasn't really as like well versed in terms of like the convent or something. Pero kasi nabanggit sa isang scene na kakalabas lang ni V ng kumbento. Was there can like males ba enter the convent?
I think if they were brought up there, yeah. I don't know.
So I don't know.
Kasi may staff naman silang males din, di ba, sa loob ng convent? Like the gardeners.
I think it depends.
But they are
on
not
the-
like participating in the activities.
No, I don't think so.
Not okay.
Parang they're just being
Kasi-
taught.
Oo, kasi alam ko may mga inaampon eh. I mean, they take in
Baka yun.
orphans.
Baka yun lang.
So
Right.
if they grew up with the nuns, that's absolutely fine. But if, for example, somebody just comes to visit and tries to stay, like, anong tawag doon? Like a recluse or hermit or I don't know. Then I don't think, and it depends on I think the Carmelites. I don't know the ones in Tagaytay. There are let's say
sisters.
orders when they
Yeah.
don't actually interact. Like
Pink Sisters sa Baguio.
right,
don't.
they have this. What do you call that? This barrier. So they're not allowed to physically interact with people in that sense.
Kasi parang medyo monk sila kung compared to the nuns.
Recluse. Ayun.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think it's absolutely fine. I mean, kung doon naman namulat yung bata, lumaki sa kanila, that's absolutely fine.
Uy, i-verify ko lang talaga sa alma mater ko, sa Saints ko ha. All girls kami
Go!
dun eh. Charot lang.
Oh my God, why didn't I see you? I was at Lacoc. Charot.
Oh my God! Talaga.
Please
Baka lang to.
Yan. Ayan. But I think overall, again, VR, I don't know if you were here at the early part of the show, but we stand the acting in this place, in this house.
Yes.
There were a few things that can still be improved, but we ascribe it to maybe first time jitters or I don't know, like first episode stuff. But overall, acting very, very good. Production, a few minor tweaks, right? Story very intriguing, and overall the theme and of course the plot very, very interesting. So good job there.
Right.
Uy, wala talagang MA mga pinagsasabi natin dito ha. Kasi like in other series, I've been vocal really. Na parang I don't like the acting. Nainis ako, bad trip ako. But here, wala akong MA ganon. Yun lang.
Nandiyan pa si VR. VR ng school mo daw.
Yeah.
Kung assumption si Mikey, Poveda si Talamasca.
Oh my God.
Poveda. Yeah.
Poveda.
So
Oh my
VR
God.
ng school mo.
Oh my gosh, my gosh.
Poveda.
Oh my God, you know Tita
First
Julie.
lockdown ata yung school.
Mga, Diyos ko,
Are you
dito pala yung mga,
Kumaris with Tita Julie?
yes, dito pala yung mga hermanas natin, mama. Diyos ko, mga hermanas, we have to meet us soon.
I wanna meet Roberto. Season 2 of Boys Love Now, I wanna meet Roberto.
And Cassandra. Malay mo si Cassandra pala kadate ni Dev.
Hi!
Oh my God. Pietro is Merinol. Charot.
Ay, huy, ang dami pala nating mga hermanas dito. Diyos ko, we have to meet soon. Charot. Ay, Diyos ko.
Ang haba na nito.
Ito ba tayo?
Pahingahin na natin yung mga tao.
VR is asking something pa.
VR is asking something pa daw ng college. Di ko narinig. Sabay-sabay, sorry. Si VR.
Ako nag-aaral.
Saan ka nag-aral? Sa chat talaga.
Anyways. Okay, guys, don't forget we're gonna be ending the show right now. So I hope you had fun listening to us. And I hope you're all spellbound like we are for Cheat the Series episode 1. And thank you, VR, for staying in the chats and all those people staying in the chats. Thank you so much for our 14,000 subscribers. So follow and subscribe our social media accounts. That's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. It's Brouhaha B Squad at Brouhaha Squad B Squad. So above me is Mark, below is Nico and Mike, and I'm Lance. So as the influencers would say, we're out and proud. So live the magic for cheap.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy Tuesday,
PUP knows to be
everybody.